Welcome to Movie Bitches.
Let's talk about some goddamn Christmas movies.
Whoa, Merry Christmas.
Yeah! First things first, shout out to our Patreon supporters. $5 a month gets you early access. $10 gets you access to our viewing parties. Thank you all for your support. It really means the world. It keeps us going. It keeps us doing all of these things. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to our wine sponsor, Wink. Go to trywink.com/moviebitches to get $22 off your first month of wine. Third things third, make sure to subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Share. Tell all your friends. Subscribe to Movie Bitches. They're hilarious.
It's time to talk about the new favorite. I
think it is.
The new benchmark for what the fuck Christmas movies. It's up it's up there with Spirit of Christmas
level.
It is up there. I'm excited. You'd never know it, but it's called 12 Pups of Christmas. And I kind of wrote it off it's those kittens for Christmas and the whatever and the dog. It's going to be bad. I don't know. I took so many notes. I rewound this movie so many times because I thought I'd missed something, because I couldn't believe something was happening.
It was absolutely insane. I literally was cackling and dying. It was crazy.
It's one of those. It's a gem. It's a diamond in the rough. Yes. Honestly, if you have not watched it, don't watch this. Go watch it. Come back. I'm absolutely serious, because it is an experience to behold.
It's streaming. It's on Hulu. It's on Amazon, IMDb, Tubi, lots of places to go watch it. I highly recommend. You have to go through this journey on your own. Well, don't do it on your own.
I mean,
I would recommend doing it with a group of friends.
If you want to invite people to join you, absolutely. But yeah, you need to experience it
for yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. You've been warned. 12 Pups of Christmas. So the movie starts, and our main character, whose name I don't recall, doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
Is a pet therapist, and she's really counseling the humans because the pet, that whole thing. And she's got a series of wacky clients, but she's getting out of the city.
The city.
And moving to a different city, Silicon Valley.
It starts and it's like she's doing her best ASMR voice, She's this therapist.
I could talk about this actress for...
I got a job offer that I can't turn down, and Travis and I made this decision.
Oh my God.
Well, oh my God. First of all, it starts, and the
Mar
font.
Vista.
It's Mar Vista, and the font is atrocious. It is. I was like, is this Clarissa Explains It All? It's green and it's red and there's curls and you can't read it and it's a disaster and it's awful. And I was like, oh, we're starting right out of the gate. Here we go. Let's do this movie. So yes, this main actress is, my notes escalated from, is she a robot? Why is she a robot? Is she bipolar? Is she a serial killer? Is she an alien from outer space trying to pass herself off as a human? That was the series of events that occurred throughout the movie where I was just like, this is a mystery wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a puzzle. I don't know what is going on with this lady.
I think that he wants to marry you.
Are you okay?
There's so many weird production mishaps and missteps. She gets in the cab. It's actually shot in New York, a lot of it, which was shocking. And at a certain point I was like, did they have a permit? I don't think they had a permit. I'm not sure if they had one. So she gets into the cab and she's on the phone and she says, I'm finally done work.
Hey, babe, it's me. I'm finally done work.
That was the take. That was the take they used. I rewound it 4 times. I finally done work, honey.
Hey, babe, it's me. I'm finally done work.
I'm coming home now. See you soon. Well, we can cook the turkey. I'm finally done work. That was where we started. I was like, that was the take we used.
I remember being like, you couldn't have given her another take? What? No, because they weren't permanent in the taxi cab, Avaryl.
Exactly. They were running and gunning. They couldn't wait to have her say it properly.
Turkey and the dressing and everything will be ready for Thanksgiving. Okay, I love you. Bye.
So that was at the point where I was like, why is she a robot? What's happening? Why can't she say lines? What's going on? So then she gets home and her fiance.
Tell my fiance I'm looking for him. I have lost my fiance, the poor baby.
And her best friend are cooking dinner without her, even though she wanted to cook dinner. And they haven't packed up their apartment at all, even though they're moving in a week.
Is Papa making the food already?
Like, we're so bad.
Even though we told him to wait?
Then the fiance and best friend are clearly fucking.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought, like, when she was in the cab, like, I'll be home in 5 minutes. I'm done work, honey.
Hey, babe. It's me. I'm finally done work.
I was like, oh, so she's gonna find them in bed. And then no, they were in the kitchen.
Well, if it wasn't a Hallmark movie, then you would find them in the kitchen fucking. But no, he'd be icing her buns, you know. But too much.
So, whisking her away.
Oh, okay, that's cute.
It's a little more G-rated. Yeah. Anyway, she gets home and she's very mad because they baked without her.
Yeah, the dinner goes real sideways real quick when she's just like, well, that's it. He's like, well, I can never say anything right or whatever. And she's like, well, what's that supposed to mean? That's it, I'm leaving. And you're like, whoa.
It was definitely like, oh, you two should not be getting married. Like, it was like, oh no, the writing is already on the wall. But we find out that the next day they're going to get married at the courthouse and then leave that night and fly to LA or fly to Silicon Valley, fly to San Francisco. Shortly. Again, they're in a cab and they're driving to get married at the courthouse. And he's like, I can't do this. I have to go. I have to leave.
Wait,
I have to go right now.
But before, I have to go right now. Ow.
How long has this been going on? Only 6 months.
But before that, so she storms out from dinner and she's outside and he comes to get her. Right. And he's like, well, I don't think I can move or whatever. And he's like clearly not going to go. And she's like, what do you mean? And then the friend is like, coffee, anyone? And you're like, okay, well, whatever. But like, clearly you would finish this conversation after, but they apparently never did.
Right,
and I was
before you get in the cab to get married and all dressed up. Because then. So he gets out of the cab. Now, it seems as if they've stopped randomly, but I guess they have stopped in front of the courthouse. But he just sort of gets out, and there's the best friend. Like, she just knew. And he's like, we didn't want to do it this way. And they confess that they've been having an affair and all these things. I'm like, so the plan was to surprise break up with her in front of the courthouse. So you coordinated it that the best friend would happen to show up.
Or was invited to their wedding and then just was like, ooh, if you object, but like, yeah, I do because I'm in love with your fiance.
But she wasn't dressed.
But she wasn't dressed for it. That's right.
Yeah. It would cost too much money to have a courtroom scene with a judge.
Of course.
Unfortunately, he'll have to tell it to the judge. What?
That then they would, and
that would require a permit, Avaryl.
It would also require a permit, which I am convinced they did not have. They break up with her, and she gets in another cab.
What, did you get dumped at City Hall?
Mind your own business!
Mind your own business! So it's like, there might as well have been like pigeons scattering on the library steps.
What, did you get dumped at City Hall?
Mind your own business!
Like, she like divulges personal information supposedly to, like, if no one else, the driver. Yeah.
Well, because again, this is all done in voiceover because no permit.
Also, she's not good at delivering any sort of emotion or like tonal acting into this line reading, so it's very flat. Mind your own business.
I mean, it was loud, but no, she was a robot at this point in my eyes. I was like, is it going to be revealed that she is in fact a robot?
But I'm also really sorry to say that her friend was also a terrible actress.
Awful. Everyone in this movie was terrible.
I'm so ashamed.
Truly very strange. Let's say that. I don't know what they were going for, but everyone was strange.
He seemed brilliant, and I can't wait to get to know him.
But the thing is, I wish he were more brilliant, because if he were, then we wouldn't be on the edge of losing the entire company.
So I kept being like, now what's going on with them though?
I mean, we'll get to the sister. I mean, we'll get there.
I mean, we're there. So she
Yeah.
moves
Okay.
across the country because she's been left at the altar by her fiance.
I have lost my fiancé, the poor baby.
So she literally gets off the plane, gets out of a car at an office building, has a weird interaction with Santa Claus in the elevator.
We could be Mr. and Mrs. Kringle.
Then the receptionist is like, oh,
Welcome to Doggone Hotel. You got all this luggage.
I'm totally joking. You must be Aaron.
Yes, we've been expecting you.
Oh, you have?
We have.
I'm just kidding. I know who you are. We've been expecting you. And then she
Honestly-
goes, you have?
Everyone is a robot. It was everyone interacting was weird. She's at a tech company where they're making GPS dog collars, which already exist. And don't they chip dogs anyway? So who cares? Like, I was like, I feel like you already lost the boat on this one. But of course, they're going to lose their funding by Christmas.
Of course.
We meet the sister character.
We'll get there. That was my favorite line that I had to rewind and play back.
My investors have put a cap on my funding. If I don't show them a workable product by our meeting on Christmas Eve in New York City, then they pull my financing.
It was like a parody. If we can't convince these random foreign investors that they have to give us money by Christmas Eve, then the entire company's gonna be ruined.
But they were all, I think, serious. Like, it was not a parody. And yet it was one of the strangest. It was just the strange. Everyone was so bizarre. The sister comes in and she's like,
It's my fiance. He kind of like dumped me on my wedding day. I know. You knew?
immediately she's like, oh yeah, I was left at the altar and my best friend and blah, blah. She just like pours her whole heart out. And the sister's like, I know.
Oh, no. I don't know. What do you mean? No, how would I know?
That would be so weird.
That would be really creepy. No.
And she's like, what? How would you,
What?
Oh, I just get to know everyone that I hire. And it was like very mysterious and weird. And it was like, okay, is this gonna come up later? Turns out it sort of does.
Sort of. But because of that line, and then like the way that she acts like a creepy, weird robot person, like in the house later on.
Well, then
Honestly, I texted and was like, is she gonna murder her? Like,
did she lure her here to bury her in her basement?
No, I don't know. What do you mean? No, how would I know? That would be so weird. That would be really creepy. No, I mean, I know because you told me, but like I didn't know before that, so.
She's like, yeah, we don't really need a dog therapist, but, I hired you because...
He sits her down and is like, so what do you do? And why do you do that? And why do you think that would be good fit for this company? And she's like, you hired me. And I'm like, why are they having this interview after she's already moved there? What are we doing? Like, this is crazy. It could have been a Zoom call. We
have to back up because she's talking to the sister. And she's surprised by what the company does. She's like, oh, you make GPS dog collars? And I'm like,
Is that the collar? Yeah, that's it.
Did
But
you
they're
guys
so big,
even
and I'm like,
have an interview? And the way that she says, oh, but the collar is not small. Like, that's how she reads it. It was so weird.
It's so not small.
The line reading. I was like, what is this now? She is an alien who's trying to fit in from outer space.
If I can communicate with my dog like you do, seriously, this is the last dress that I own that doesn't have a hole in it.
Oh my God. So then they take her to her office and there's 12 puppies there.
Right.
And she's like, whatever are these puppies doing here? And in a throwaway line,
Some incompetent ad agency left him here after a photo shoot.
what now? What's this now? That's not a thing. That's what? Also, you would call them and say, you left 12 puppies in our office. You should come pick them up, please. You obviously got them from somewhere.
Somewhere.
What? What's this now? It's just like
This
utter
is such
nonsense.
a weird, like, this whole entire plot line was so bizarre to me.
This seemed like the original plot, right? Like, they then tacked things on because this was the most saccharine. Like, throughout the whole movie, it's like, we have to give these 12 puppies to the right families before Christmas because Christmas movie. And they go and they meet people and it's like, oh, this homeless woman got herself off the street with her kids. And she's like, we never thought we could have a puppy. And they have this whole, sad scene and you're like, this is a different movie.
Why are you crying?
The kids have dreamed forever about having a dog. And it just always felt like an impossibility.
This is a different movie. That felt like the bones of what the original script was. And then they were like, and
Absolutely.
she's this, and she gets left at the altar, and he has a secret other family, and this is happening, and then,
Yeah.
and the sister's secretly a serial killer.
It's just what you do when you live in the valley and you're a tech guru like me.
Wait, so are you a programmer?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
At some point I was like, is she an elf? Like, is she straight up gonna be Santa's helper?
The last renter was kind of a bit of a Christmas freak, but I don't think you mind that.
There was something weird. It was off.
I just can't get over some of her line readings were like next level. Like, no, you can't even recreate that if you tried. I guess, if someone was cute, like in the face, I would say hi.
I mean, if somebody were to be cute, like in the face or whatever, I might just like say hi, but.
What? It seemed like they were improvising. Again, because they didn't have permits or something. Like, it was like run and gun, run and gun.
Or a script. I don't know.
They were writing it furiously as it was being filmed.
Yeah. So there's these puppies, and he's like, well, your first job is to get rid of them. And she's like, what? I'm a dog therapist. And he's like, well, I'm the boss and I get to decide. And so Carly's the sister or whatever, she doesn't get to do anything now. And so you're stuck and you have to get rid of these dogs by Christmas. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And also,
anyway.
I hate dogs. Oh, we find out why he hates dogs.
This was so stupid.
So then it turns out she seems so surprised by everything that's happening to her. The sister's like, they're just at a house. They're at a house.
At a house.
Again, I don't think there was permitting happening. Here we are at a house and, oh, don't worry. This is where you're going to live. We just lost a roommate and we already have it all set up for you. And don't worry. And I was like, shouldn't you have thought of this before you moved across the country? Wouldn't that be did you sell your apartment in New York? What happened?
You would have arranged somewhere to move to before, oh, this is better than a hotel. And I'm like, what? Well, we all live here. We're a work and family. It was like, what the fuck?
Well, then it took a turn and I was like, is this a cult?
You're part of our family now.
We're your family.
This is your new family.
You're part of our family now.
Welcome to the family.
It's like, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't do it.
We accept the one of us.
Gooba gobble, gooba gobble.
We accept her, we accept her. Google gobble, Google gobble.
That's when I was like, is she gonna murder her? Like, what is going on? Oh, we want her skin. It was like very creepy.
Families passed on. So nice to be with people that are alive and call them family.
What the fuck is going on? What has happened? Well, so then they're having a party that's for her, but also Christmas / they already planned it / you're coming to our party, right? And she's like, oh, I'm kind of jet lagged. And she's like, you're the star of the party. We're part of a family now. Anyway, everyone gets trashed. She gets trashed on her first night at this work party.
In a one-horse open sleigh, all the fields we go, laughing all the way.
And
Yeah.
when they were talking to her or something, and she's like, oh, I just love dogs, or I'm a dog therapist. And when she's like drinking that champagne, and she just goes, woof, woof.
No pressure. Yep, I believe in you. We believe in you. You're gonna do it.
I want to watch that woof, woof on a loop. I rewound it multiple times.
No pressure. Yep, I believe in you. We believe in you. You're gonna do it.
I love too that everyone at the office, or like at this party that like works at the company, was like,
Trashed.
I've been reading about you and I'm so impressed by your, like, it was so weird.
You must be that famous dog therapist. And everyone just seems high on a kite and drunk off their asses, which fair enough, but also it was just like right away. You're part of our family now.
Silicon Valley, I guess. Oh my God, that was the creepiest. There was no setup. There was no scenes to like make it make sense. It was just like creep. Ugh, awful.
So then it becomes sort of this tale of him being like a kind of
Terrible.
a misogynist jerk at work and taking credit for people's work and not letting his sister
Oh my
achieve.
God.
And-
Oh my God. No. We have to go back to the party. He shows up late.
Right, in the kitchen. Like, just like, oh, hi, I was clearly not here to film with the rest of the cast, so I'm available on this day. Let's film in the kitchen. I honestly, at a certain point, I was like, did this movie get, like, shut down mid-production because of the pandemic, and they just edited together whatever they had and just, like, cobbled a movie together?
Right.
That's what it felt like.
Look, I can't eat, I can't sleep, and I'm a complete mess, and I just wanted to see if we could talk.
But so he's in the kitchen. They're talking.
Why is your company called Doggone?
Because when a dog owner loses their pet, it's gone. Doggone.
It's stupid.
Your name sucks. It's terrible, and you need to change it. And he's
Right,
like, what? Your first order of business is to change my name? And she's like, yeah, doggone doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't it make more sense to be like Pet Tracker or something like that?
No,
And she names like three
Animal
things.
Tracker. It wasn't even pet. It was just Animal
right,
Tracker.
'cause-
And I'm like, sure, that's easy to Google.
Right? Because it was a pun with Animal Cracker, I guess.
Just call it what it is. Animal Tracker.
Kind of sounds like Animal Cracker.
The sort of like tech startup conversations were all nonsense, and it was great.
I know, but the technology just doesn't exist.
First, I'll access a secret military spy satellite that's in a geosynchronous orbit over the Midwest.
You're telling me that you can't reverse engineer a cell phone, fit all the Wi-Fi components into a collar?
Then, I'll reposition the transmitter dish in the remote truck to 17.32 degrees east.
We could take the cellular and Wi-Fi components of a cell phone.
We could take the cell phone parts and wrap it around the length of a collar.
Spread them out over the course of a dog collar. That wouldn't be more than, what, 5 inches? And the smallest dog's neck is 6 inches, so...
It's almost too easy.
It would only have to be 5 inches long. That could be any collar. Wow, you're a
Could fit on
genius.
a chihuahua.
It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? What were they
Basically-
doing before?
He's an idiot.
Yes, Prince Mishkin. What can we do for you?
He's a moron. And she, I don't know, has some ideas that aren't great, but he seems to think they're the
so
best.
obvious.
I mean, it was like
I was just
absolutely
like,
obvious.
what is-
But the collar is not small.
It's so not small.
Then he takes credit for all of her ideas in the conference room,
Right.
and that is the catalyst for the rest of their relationship in this movie because she's very upset.
But you know what? I get it. I mean, you're the face of this company, and if any of your employees found out that your new doggy shrink was coming up with ways for you to fix your company, you would look like a fool.
Or it's not like, oh, she went to business college.
I'm just like a therapist. Like, I don't know anything about finance.
It should have been the sister coming up with all the ideas, and
Sure.
she filtered
And
it
he
through
keeps
the pet
stealing
therapist
them, yeah.
or something. And it was like when they were in pet therapy, she got them to communicate or something. But no, it's just her being like,
Sure.
you should do this. Because there were so many like weird things obviously. So they go and they're dropping off one of the dogs. And because he still doesn't like dogs, but he's trying to learn how to like them. And he was wearing these blue Dockers, and it didn't work. I didn't care for it. But I say this because they have a whole scene where he lets her into the back seat of the car, and then he closes the door, and then we follow him as he slowly walks all the way around to sit in the back seat, where it took me like way too long to realize they had a driver. Like I had to rewind it. I was like, there's no one in the car though. They're just gonna sit in this driveway. And then if you really look, you can see them. But it's like, wouldn't the driver be opening the door for them? No, they didn't have a permit because that's clearly just a driver that was there on the day and they couldn't actually drive the car. They didn't have the insurance for that. We'll just sit in the back seat. Thank you.
That's absolutely what it is.
That's 100% what happened. I'm transpo, like he was just like one of like the union transpo guys that was like, I can sit in this car and it will be insured if I sit at the driver's seat while it is parked. And you two can happily open and close the back doors. We can film it. That is all.
That is all. I cannot get out and open the door for you.
Nope.
So I did have the same exact thought. I was like, why isn't the driver opening the door? That makes sense.
But it's this long shot of him walking all the
oh
way around. And I was just like,
I think maybe it was supposed to be chivalry. I don't know.
But then just have him let her in and then cut to next scene. We're at the, to next scene. And here we are back at the Silicon Valley house and her best friend shows up. And I was like, oh, I had given up on that plot. I didn't give a shit about that. I really did not think this was coming up again.
I thought it was just an impetus for moving on. And instead, no.
I'm not good with dogs. Well, then you're going to have to learn. And they're not potty trained, so they're just going to pee and poo all over the place. So please clean that up.
Then she becomes very vindictive, which, I enjoyed. She's like, I'm not going to talk to you. You have to take care of these fucking 10 puppies that I have left over. Then maybe I'll talk to you. So she just leaves her at home. I was like, who was watching them before? But it doesn't matter. The best friend reveals to her that the fiance has multiple girlfriends and families all over the country. And she mass emailed them all to tell them all about each other. And I was like, that's the movie I want to watch.
Right?
I found a secret server with all of his emails. There were even pictures. Yeah, it was bad.
12 Wives of Christmas.
Yes, though.
Where they all then gang up and figure out a way to ruin him.
Well, because then she's like, we need to get revenge.
I think we should kidnap him and tie him up and tattoo his forehead and have it say I'm a serial cheater. Punch me in the face.
And the friend's like, yeah, I love it.
Let's do it, yeah. So he becomes obsessed with her and all of her ideas, and suddenly, because she's a strong woman who challenges his ideals, he can't be without her. And he's like, you have to come to New York with me for this big business pitch. And she's like, that's not part of my job description. I'm not fucking going to New York.
You really don't have a choice. I'm being nice by asking. Either you're going or you're fired.
Oh, when you put it like that.
And you're fired! What? Great, give me that severance package, bitch. What?
Right? Okay, cool. Great, I don't have to work and it's Christmas. Bye.
You clearly didn't really need me at this job anyway, / you're stealing all my ideas, so see you later.
I quit.
Like, he's clearly incompetent. Like, he clearly is bad at his job, so I don't know why he's in charge. It turns out later we find out it's because he's like a trust fund kid, but the movie sets him up as, well, it really sets the sister up as, she's like, oh, I got in early with the startup. I bought this fabulous house in Silicon Valley before it was expensive. Right. She's got this whole backstory about how she was worked for multiple startups. And I'm like, so she seems like the one that's machinationing all of this?
Right? Instead, she's just playing matchmaker? That was what was so weird. Why couldn't she have invested the money if she has all this money from all these startups? Invest it in another one.
Don't put your own money in the show. You don't put your own money in the show.
Well, fair.
Never put your own money in the show.
So yes, he blackmails her into going on this business trip, and they're on the flight, which was clearly where they spent all of their money to have this plane set. And
also, I loved that his side was pure daylight, and hers was just black behind the window.
Everything was like extreme close up, extreme close up, extreme close up. When they like at a certain point, I think they lost the startup building. Like they couldn't get the room anymore, and so they had to do just like close up with like fuzzy background, like a color or whatever, because that was not where they were. At a certain point, it was like, oh no, you lost that location.
We lost that set, but we have a conference room now, and that's what we'll use, and it'll be fine.
So they're on the plane, and they clearly take off and absolutely are flying. And she...
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I died at this, too, because they show the plane taking off, and it's like an old, like, whatever, right? And then they cut back at some point, and it's like an A380, which is the double-decker plane that like does not fly in between San Francisco and New York. And it's just like the worst CGI plane ever. And I was like, what is this?
So then she's like, well, let's get to the bottom of why you really hate dogs. And he has this flashback where it was very, I don't know, have you seen The Producers?
Yeah.
It was very like, the wood needs a corn and the cows need a milking. Alvin!
And then one day I came home from school and Kobe, he wasn't there.
I was running through fields of alfalfa with my collie Rex.
And I see my mother standing on the back porch in a worn but clean gingham gown. And I hear her calling out to me, Alvin!
It was very like, where are we? What's happening? Like, this seems like a different era and time and place. And
there's like this young kid that like shows up on a fence and he's like...
it's like Huck Finn all of a sudden. You're like, what the fuck is this? And it turns out his dog ran away and he was sad.
Of course.
And he doesn't like dogs now. That was it.
Wouldn't that be a story that he told all the time since he has a startup that makes callers to find your lost pet?
Yeah, like that only makes sense character-wise. Like, well, when I was 6 and I lost my dog pitch. Rex, hey, right. I realized we needed it, and it would have saved me all of this trauma, but, no. He's an idiot. He's incompetent. He's a trust fund baby that never had to work for anything in his life. If that's what they were going for, they nailed it. They finally get to New York, and they're getting out of yet another car that they clearly had permits to film in front of this hotel. No one seems like they're in the same room. It's all like really weird.
This hotel scene was so funny with them being like, they get out, wow, gorgeous. Wow, this is my favorite hotel in New York. It was so weird.
We are definitely in New York in front of a hotel right now. But did you notice? She gets out of the car, does not have her dog. In every scene, she's carrying her dog, has it under her arm.
Yeah.
She gets out of the car, no dog. And I was like, did she forget her dog in the car? Is someone carrying it in a carrier? Oh no. Cut to different angle. It's there. She has it under her arm. I had this whole moment of like,
the
oh
least
no,
of my problems
did she
with
lose?
this film.
No, but I was like, oh no, did she lose the dog? Where's the dog? Oh my God, is this gonna be a plot line? Are they gonna have to find it? Are they gonna be running around New York? Baby's day out, and she's looking for the dog. Oh no, there it is. It's right there. It was an editorial error.
Yeah. Yep. But I don't think I would have ever guessed where this movie goes next. So he gives her the penthouse.
The penthouse that she walks down a long corridor with many rooms. So it is in fact not the penthouse. There was like 7 rooms she walked by, and I was like,
the top floor. Sure.
Then this is not the penthouse then. Okay.
Right. Then she's like, they're snuggling up, getting ready for bed, and she gets a call from him. And then he like comes to the door, and this was very sexual for...
It was. Wait. We have to mention that he is on his bed wearing shoes that he had been walking on the New York streets with. On the bed. With the shoes. I could not trust this man.
Because I take presents to kids at local homeless shelter.
Sorry.
He comes upstairs. They're having a sexy chat on the phone. And he knocks on the door. I mean, they fucked, right? They fucked. Presumably they fucked.
They kiss very much. I mean, they don't show anything, but it's an implied sex scene, which is very, very unheard of for these movies.
I was like, what? What? At this point, they're down in the lobby, and the ex fiance.
Have you seen my fiancé? He's upstairs. Are you going upstairs? Tell my fiancé I'm looking for him.
Shows up, and I was like, no, I really don't care about this. Like, I really did not need, like, I thought this was just end scene. Like, but no, they keep coming back. And this was when the music, the like Christmas music cues were so loud, it was drowning out the dialogue. And I was like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. What's going on?
Aaron. I didn't expect to see you back in New York so soon.
You are such a pig.
But also, like, this was so confusing where I'm like, why is he there?
How did he know that she was there? How did any of this happen? He's like, oh, baby, let's get back together.
And she's like, what happened with all the others, huh? And he's like, yeah, they left me.
They all dumped me when best friend lady who can't act mass emailed them all that I was cheating on all of them.
But please, come back to me.
But please,
we can be together. And
you're the only one that didn't get that email and reject me, so come back. And handsome startup incompetent guy shows up just in time.
I know we can make this work.
Get your hands off.
Let go of me.
This fight escalated so quickly. I was surprised they paid for the stunt work, honestly.
And then I just love that this woman comes out, help, police officer! There's a fight in the lobby!
Oh my God! And so the startup guy and the boyfriend get arrested.
Who is this guy?
He's the loser who dumped me on my wedding day.
Who are you? I'm her boyfriend. What?
What?
You're gonna have to do this pitch on your own. Again, this is not Working Girl.
My God.
She is a dog therapist. She has no, like, there's no reason the sister should be the one doing all of this.
Yes.
This makes no
absolutely.
sense. So she gets in yet another cab and goes to the big pitch meeting that we definitely have been culminating towards the whole film. And Mr. Insert Japanese name here. We know because they play really subtle Oriental music, and there is a gong. So we know that he is, in fact, Japanese. I was like, oh boy, this is...
Mr. Akuboto will see you now.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
We're ready for you to come into the meeting. Cut to down on the street. We never see one hide nor hair of Mr. Japanese businessman. Nothing. We don't even have a voiceover of like, okay. So
we don't see her presenting anything. And suddenly, he is running down the street just in time to run into her. I thought this was him being like, I made it just in time. I can do the pitch with you. And then she's like, oh, I already did the pitch. And I was like, what?
It was all going so well. I had that room. I had that room so focused for 20 straight minutes. Then their translator came.
Yes! I was like, oh, is she out there getting herself together, or whatever?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
She's like, nope. I already did it. And I failed because I thought I was doing great. And I talked for 20 minutes until I realized their translator wasn't there. And they didn't understand a word that I said. And we lost the account.
But they didn't need a translator, right? I mean, they spoke English, right?
No.
And then he's like, it's cool, don't worry. I met someone in prison who...
I reached out to a potential investor whom I've known a very, very long time. He wants to finance everything. It's going to be a very, very Merry Christmas.
Agreed to give us all the funding that we needed. So it didn't matter anyway.
You're like, what?
This is when I was like, oh, did they get shut down, and production was halted, and they just, went out into the empty streets of New York in 2020 and just started filming stuff? Because this was when it, really started to fall apart. I was like, what now? Like, we didn't even skip that. Who cares? Moving on. Anyway, next scene.
I have a present for you.
Wait, what? I didn't get you one.
Open it.
Because I forgot it was Christmas.
Oh boy. So then cut to Silicon Valley, and there's two weird twins walking down the staircase, and they're dressed in the same outfit. And I was like, what's this though? How come
I don't remember this.
it was like clearly like the producer's children or something. It was just like two twins like in the same dress, like walking down the stairs. And I was like, so is this going somewhere? So long, farewell?
Is this Shining? Like what's
happening? No, then they just like exit the shot and the sister's walking behind them. And I was like, okay, sure. Why not? So they're having their Christmas party, and we find out finally the sister is like, oh.
Nice to talk to you just a tiny bit. I knew that you would be perfect for my brother. So I offered you a job.
Just to clear up this loose end, because this movie doesn't make sense, I scouted you and stalked you online and knew that you would be the perfect match for my brother. So I hired you under false pretenses and made you move across the country because I knew your fiance was cheating on you and you were going to get left at the altar and wouldn't be bringing him with you, ? And set you up with my brother. Surprise. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. I do not. But he then announces that, in fact, his father...
And though Mr. Akaboda told us no, I found us a new angel investor. What? I'd like everyone to meet Jerry, my father.
Just gave them the money,
Right.
and it's all fine now.
And the dad's like, just don't lose the family money. And he's like, I'm going to make sure not to lose my inheritance.
Never put your own money in the show! Get it? Got it. Good.
You will be bankrupt by the end of the year. He is irresponsible and incompetent. Oh, right, because then there's 4 puppies left because that plot. And he's like, I'll just adopt all 4. And I was like, oh no.
No.
You barely have time for a puppy. She already has a dog. Don't adopt 4 puppies.
Right.
That is animal cruelty, sir. You are an incompetent mess. No.
Right? I think if there was one, but there's 1 puppy left. Well, I'll take, no, that one's mine. You know, like that would be one thing. It was so weird.
4?
Why 12? Why what? It was just so random. Because 12 days of Christmas, is that what it's supposed to be?
I think that was the original plot. I bet the original plot was each dog was going to represent something that was bringing them closer together, and it was going to be some partridge in
like
a
the
dog
9
in a
kittens
pear
of
tree.
Christmas.
You know, something like that. But this was just like, anyway, those dogs that were getting adopted, great.
Yeah.
And now her friend is just like squatting with her. I don't even know.
It was just there, and I'm like, why? Wow. Yeah.
This movie was wild. This is the density of failure situation where every single person was making the exact wrong choice at every possible moment. That is the only way to describe this film. Full stop.
Elizabeth Berkley is not there to save it, and you know.
I loved watching this movie. I loved this movie. This was the best Christmas movie I watched this year because it was insane. Truly one of those just like, you can't try to make this. Like, you can't attempt to make this of a mess.
No.
Something went horribly wrong. I don't know. It's the best. Go watch it.
Go.
And we're back. If you skipped ahead for spoilers, we're back.
Yes. There we go.
Please go watch 12 Pups of Christmas. Please, please. Woof. Woof, woof.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yep, I believe in you. We believe in you. You're gonna do it.
Woof. Woof.